Welcome, Wanderer. Season 10 meta update is crazy. Necromancer getting more builds than ever. Rogue finally overtaking Sorc and Barbarian, while Spiritborn is still number 1. What happened to Necromancer? Because finally Bone Spirit is the new number 1. It used to be Soul Rift, Soul Rift, and Soul Rift, and now we get the Spirit and Skeletons. Yes, Skeletons. Let's check out Mr. Rani on pit 126 with 1 second remaining. And the interesting part about the Bone Spirit gameplay is that it's not the Bone Spirit that is your damage, it's actually all the Bone Splinters that are coming out of it. And not only are the Bone Splinters your main damage, you can actually play the new unique item, the Gospel of the Devotee. I called it completely useless, but people actually found a use for it. Gameplay loop is quite simple. You make sure that your Bone Storm is up for the permanent barrier, then you curse your enemies, pull them together, and just hold down your Bone Spirit button, which automatically resets due to critting, and then your Bone Splinters, due to your chaotic powers, are always critting too and always going crazy. Madness. You get the chaotic perk called Unstable Power. Chaotic magics erupt from your basic skills, making them guaranteed to critical strike and overpower for 100% increased damage. They get a 3-second cooldown. Who cares? The only way we're actually getting our basic skill is spamming the Bone Spirit, and then having the Shattered Spirit aspect, which says casting Bone Spirit also launches 18 Bone Splinters with 900% increased damage. Add the aspect of adaptability for more damage per point of resource. And also the aspect of Moonrise, which says damaging an enemy with basic skills gives you even more damage and more attack speed to go more spirits, to go more damage, to go more attack speed. Beautiful. Then you can also add the Shot of Veracial for another 150%. We get the Gospel of the Devotee for our chance for basic skills to deal double damage. And your basic skills are empowered. Damaging an enemy with a basic skill causes them to take 48% increased damage from your basic skills. So in between, you get a Reap to then have your Bone Splinters do 48% damage for 10 seconds, so then Reap to have it go on and on and on. And since we're spending a skill that costs resource, but always uses all the resource, you can actually use your Crown of Lucian for another 75% beautiful bonus damage. And lastly, the Litless Wall, because it's bonus bone skill ranks, and then it gives you main hand weapon damage on the top. And since our basic skills are overpowering crits, you can add Brawn over Brains for that 125% overpower damage just like that. No worries, all the planners are in the description below, so you can replicate all the madness that you see going on here and the other builds. Because Necromancer get a second one that's actually all the way up to top 10 here, also Mr. Rani. And in this case, it's using your Skeletal Warriors. Yes, your Warriors as your main damage. Because we got a chaotic perk that has your Warriors use a basic skill. And as you can see, that's trillions of damage from your Warriors going Reap, Reap, Reap. And the way how you scale it is the real fun part. The only thing you pretty much do gameplay loop wise is go into your Blood Mist so you can't get damaged, then have your barrier up with a Bone Storm, Bone Prison them, and pull them together. And they're taking trillions. Multiple trillions of damage. We again have the Shot of Veracial because we're using the basic skills. So why not multiply up the basic skill Reap to do more? Then you can also use Unstable Power. Yes, your Skeletons are now officially using your basic skill, your Reap, dealing 150% of normal regular damage. And then these hits are always critical strikes and overpowered. And if we now have the Shot of Veracial, that brings it up too. Then we have the Bloodless Scream because that's 7 ranks to Darkness skills. And well, my Reap is a Darkness skill, and then my Warriors will also chill enemies and do more damage against bosses. We can play aspects for minion damage, but we can play all the basic skill aspects too, because Moonrise is going to have your Skeletons attack faster. Adaptability is going to give them more damage. And then on your boots and helmet, you can add another 7 ranks to the Warrior Mastery, bringing up a grand total of, what do we got here? 18 ranks to Skeletal Warrior Mastery. That's 270% bonus damage. Crazy. The only thing that's missing on the Reap Warrior to really go to the next level is that you have an attack their minion button. Because right now you can only command minions or use your minion summon button to give them another damage multiplier, but you can't be like, attack there, go swing, like do this now. You just gotta hope they trail along and attack where you would like them to attack. However, having minions do this amount of damage, it's just creative and beautiful. Now, what about the Rogue? How did he manage to overtake Sorcerer and Barbarian? Do they stink that hard? Rogue might be extremely clunky this season, because with the Orphan Maker, you're using 2 skills, and you give those skills cooldowns. But look at the damage here. I just saw an 87 trillion damage. Yes. I mean, these are high billions all the way, right? And he's shooting out his Forceful Arrow and his Heartseeker. However, the biggest problem is that you have to stand in a certain way to actually shoot through all of them. So you got your Orphan Maker, it's going to give you these reloads, and you can only use your skills every other second. So it's like Heartseeker, Forceful Arrow, Heartseeker, Forceful Arrow. Then you throw in between your Caltrops, then you try to pull them together, right? But if you're not standing 321 trillion in the right angle, then you're not getting the good damage out to everyone, and you just shoot past enemies. So the damage is there, just that the gameplay, like compared to a Pulverized Druid who just hits the whole screen, or the Raven Druid too, is a bit more finicky. The actual requirements to make it work are not too harsh though. You want to have an Orphan Maker because that has your basic and core skills that use the weapon now have reload functionality and do 360% more damage, and then buff each other for 50% if you then keep using them, which is quite cool. Then add a Shard of Varathiel because we're using these two basic skills, so we get the 360% with another 150%. Plus your Pain Gorger's Gauntlets for 10 ranks to basic skills and 150% Echo outwards afterwards, so we get the 35 ranks at this point in the Forceful Arrow and the Heartseeker, with the Crown of Lucian because your basic skills cost resource now to actually make them more costing at another 75%. And with the Grasp of Shadows, we have our Marksman and Cutthroat skills actually give us a Shadow Clone. And that with a 100% chance, which is beautiful, and we get another 8 ranks to Cutthroat and Marksman skills. Yeah, we're using Marksman skills. So easy to partially get it upwards and then actually get the damage out. However, yeah, the gameplay feels somewhat clunky. For the Barbarian, we got our Lunging Strike, Wrath of the Berserker, Hammer of Ancients, Earthquake, Barb, which works. I mean, it's fantastic. It does damage and it feels good. However, it's nerfed, right? Any Barb build you play right now, any good Barb build you can play, gets somewhat nerfed and then a little bit unnerfed, but everything that has Earthquakes in it is just weaker than it used to be. And that's like, when you're playing Barbarian, you're not playing anything that's actually buffed, right? You play a weaker version of what it used to be and a weaker version of what it used to be. And like, yeah, maybe with chaotic perks, it goes somewhat strong enough, but that feels extremely bad. I want a Bullied Bob to work, but hey, we get the Saber of Sagal boosting our damage like crazy. You can move your Ugly Bastard Helmet, which is usually capped, down to then also play the Earth Petition. And we actually increase all our fire damage, and then we have our Earthquakes out there, together with our Dust Devils, and then we crit them up with the Grandfather like crazy. I feel like without the Grandfather and all this stuff, it's just not going to feel really good, right? This build is going to need a lot of these things to actually feel meaningful. Not a big fan, but hey, it's there. Then we get the Sorceress, and all the Ball of Lightning stuff has been pushed quite down, as you can see, because finally the trillion damage Hydra is there to reign. Yes, you heard right. People figured out how to make Hydra great again. Start of the season, that was all about the lightning, and lightning is very good, and lightning does so good. There is actually Ball of Lightning in this build as well. Yes, it's being spammed away. While you then put down your Hydra, you pull the enemies together, and you consistently hurl out your Ball of Lightnings together with your other skills. The good thing is, you can get your Ophidian Iris away from your Amulet slot, so you get 120% more damage per Hydra head instead of just 100%. Which is frankly spoken crazy. You still have to get those 6 Hydra hats and 6 Hydra hats, right? For the 12 total of Hydras. That can be somewhat hard. Now the crazy part will be, you're playing Mana Shield, and you get a lot of mana. However, you're also playing the Serpentine's aspect still, that consumes all your mana. So we get to pretty much consume all the mana, but then instantly get all the mana back. The interesting part is, since we have the Crown of Lucian as a chaotic armor, we can actually use it together with the A of Verglass for the attack speed, cooldown reduction, intelligence, right? Works extremely well. And the Ice Shards actually giving us even more damage stacking. And then the Crown of Lucian is giving us another damage stacking with a huge chunk of cooldown reduction. That's 23.8% here. And another 17.2% cooldown reduction on the side. With the bonus 7 ranks to core skills, and suddenly Hydra feels actually good with alternating alterations and the power siphon. And we get a trillion damage Hydra going out. Good. What about Druid and Spiritborn now? Both are extremely close to each other. Spiritborn Still at the weird evade playstyle. It does so much damage, and it's nice to see the damage. But I gotta personally say, after tier 2, I was so annoyed by the dish dashing around of my screen consistently. I mean, Rogue with Dance of Nice is at least smooth. This is just, oh my goodness, so much pain. However, shout out to Mikuna for making it all the way to 141, using actually the Eagle Spirit Hall over the Jaguar Spirit Hall, which was the absolute dominant factor, right? Everyone and their mom was using the Jack Spirit Hall, but now it is Eagle together with the Gorilla for Unstoppable. The hard part is really getting the right chaotic armor. I tried for my Spiritborn to play without chaotic armor, really good, tier 4 fallen, pit 80, 90 down. Still though, in order to make it stronger, you really need that Sabasante together with the Kapaleka, because these two give you an insane amount of damage consistently and pump each other up, together within the harmony of Abawaka, which is going to turn your Rake into a Jaguar, Eagle, Gorilla skill, and gives it another 48% damage per Spirit Hall on it. It's quite intriguing, but probably the most farm-intensive build in existence. Druid-wise, we still have the two dominating builds. We get the Pulverize and we get the Raven Druid. Interesting enough on the Pulverize Druid, I tried this in hardcore because you have 50,000 life just like that and you cannot die. My Pulverize Druid with 174 Paragon points and only 4 glyphs active could already do pit 100. That's how crazy it is. You get the Rotten Lightbringer, you make your poison pools, you hit your poison pools, and like even hard content just doesn't feel hard anymore. And that's compared to the Spiritborn, which is powerful, but needs so much to be powerful, where the Druid, like with Rotten Lightbringer, is completely out of control. The hard part is getting the Rotten Lightbringer is something that is not your weapon, right? I have mine still as my weapon, and I do pit 100 easily. You probably do pit 110, if not further. Whilst if you don't have the Rotten Lightbringer as your weapon, you can play an Aspect and get another 160% multiplicative damage. So not only is your Rotten Lightbringer going from 600 to 720%, that's another 120% bonus damage. No, you're also getting an Aspect on your weapon, which adds another 100. That's 280% bonus damage to what you're dealing just because you get it as a chaotic armor. And you can guarantee it for your Pulverize to hit twice, right? We have a 25.4% chance here, and you get a 50.7%, and if the Masterworks are slightly different, guaranteed 100%. It will always hit twice. Holy moly. Ravens did actually make it into the top 10 at this point from Mr. Shyrog, and he's playing the humanity-based version. There are two versions of this build. There's the one that goes with Cataclysm out there to consistently have Cataclysm and then spam the Ravens out. And then you have the version that's actually using Grizzly Rage to bear around. However, he is playing the version that has the Maul. And what would the Maul or Pulverize do for you? Right now, I, for example, play the one with Nature, and then I have the Perfect Storm and Earthen Might be activated by my Gatlin's Birthright and the Mighty Storms aspect to consistently have 3 key passives active. Now, you can still have the Perfect Storm and the Earthen Might, but you actually go away from the one with Nature, because one with Nature only gives you 80% increased damage, which is not that much. And what he's doing, he's playing Earthen Strength. Earthen Strength gives you 20% more damage and 100% more overpower bonus while in werebear form in 8 seconds after leaving it. And that's why he has Maul. He's going around, Cataclysm active, spam his Ravens, hit everyone, and then every now and then, Maul. 8 seconds later, Maul. Because for mauling and 8 seconds after, you get that 120% bonus damage, leading to crazy trillions. Beautiful. And you don't need to have 3 or 4 chaotic armors. No, you can be already extremely powerful with this build with the Kilt of the Black Ring just being your kilt, because the damage bonus is only 20%, compared to the Rotten Lightbringer being 120% or some others going completely crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, which builds did you try out this season? Which one did excite you the most, especially the new Necromancer ones, where basic skills are finally broken? That's beautiful. I love to see it. Tell me in the comments below what you enjoyed the most, and check out my strongest builds available. Enjoy. Take care.